actually wouldn't mind seeing the Adagio be the captain with a jungle Crystal Fortress and the Ringo in the lane, but the Black Feather coming through with the Lyra, I think this could be really big.
Well, I'm about to hand it over to you two gentlemen to take us through this next game for a human eating a tasty bacon. Well, that's what I'm going to call these two. It's Humanist and Tasty Bacon. Take it away, guys.
Well, thank you so much, Xcoundrel.
Maybe Scoundrel should keep the mic muted at times.
Wow. Wow.
Not muted. You already handed off. All right. So, no, we love you, Scoundrel. Bacon, be nice to our
Nothing but love.
beloved
Nothing
host.
but love.
When I was watching this draft here, I was fearful for Team Queso until their last pick, and I thought it actually brought everything together. What do you think, Bacon?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I wasn't really fearful for them up until the last pick, but the last pick does definitely kind of bring their plan together, kind of makes you realize fully what they're looking to do, and that's going to be just poke and harass a bit with the Lyra and the Samuel, and then when they do decide to go all in on the fight, it becomes this like huge storm of damage, kind of similar to what we saw in our first series.
Yeah, it's just like it's just a violent form of damage against this is another run at you draft though with the Fortress. I mean, these Fortress drafts are gonna run straight at you, try to kill a target, massive damage output, but Team Queso can really stand their ground with what they've drafted up here. You know, they have Oblivion to throw out, control an area, Bright Bulwark. Perez taking a lot of damage off the bat. He's trying to get back. Oh my goodness, first blood, massive damage comes out here. Zozane able to grab that one.
And that just looked like a little bit of indecisiveness from Perez there. It seemed like he wanted to just run away, but like his teammates are saying, "Oh, we'll be there. We can fight. And he was like, "I don't know, guys. I kind of can't." And he was kind of stepping back and forth a little bit, and I think that ended up really costing him.
Yeah. A lot of times, you know, you get further and further into these tournaments, and you can make maybe a couple mistakes here and there, but you really have to tighten it up. You're gonna get punished for any hesitation.
Absolutely. HellDrivers already up one game on this best of 3. They can win this one. They will be moving on in the winner's bracket. Of course, the loser of the series is not eliminated. It is a double elimination tournament, so they will go down to the loser bracket and have a chance to still come back and make it into that top 3 positioning where everyone is wanting to be, from 64 down to 3. To see who can challenge for a spot in the Vainglory 8.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. How many teams do we have left right now?
That's an excellent question because of the fact that there's so many games going on concurrently. It's kind of tough to tell the exact number.
Maybe production can ping us on that information at some point. I'd be very curious to find out. I think they're gonna check that for us in the background. But right now, yeah, it's just standard laning phase coming out here. Black Feather just trying to make sure he's getting his last hits, as he is taking quite a bit of harassment, but he has that Book of Eulogy, so he's sustaining up there, Bacon. Not a problem for him. Plus the Lyra. It's pretty easy lane, all things considered here. Like usually you're up against a Ringo, Adagio, these things. It's kind of tough for that melee laner.
Yeah, absolutely. And I haven't gotten word from production on it yet. We'll still wait for the exact number from them, but I believe we should have about 32 teams still remaining in the challengers. It sounds like we're about halfway, but it's actually a little less than halfway because of that double elimination format.
Okay, thanks for the update there. I was just keeping my eyes on it. Perdune looked like he wanted to steal that Elder Tree on there. I did go over to Team Queso, and he didn't go for it. Amanoja, how did you say this guy's name yet, or am I the only one attempting that?
I've mostly been letting you handle it. You've been doing a great job.
Do you think I'm saying it okay, Amanoja-ku?
I think so. If you
I
were
was gonna say
saying
Amon.
horribly, I would have chimed in on it.
I like Amon. That's much easier. Amon.
Mono.
Man.
I think a mono would be okay.
Mono. A mono.
Exactly.
It's a mono y mono. Oh, let's go Amano, poking from range here. Lyra as well, plus Dark Ghost makes it pretty tough for Zozane trying to hold this lane here. I believe he does have his fountain money. It's actually quite a bit of money on this Adagio right now. Perdune moves up. Looks like Isn't that what you called for in the draft? You wanted to see the jungle fortress as he jumps forward on the Prez? It's a
Yeah,
retreat
absolutely.
for Team Queso.
This is what I was looking for, and I'm really happy to actually see it being run here. We'll see how they can make it work. Doesn't quite have the damage just yet. You know, opted for a little bit of early defense and isn't involved in this fight yet.
Oh my goodness, the Atlas Pauldron was just picked up. It's now being used in the fight, and there's almost nothing Ringo can do for the moment. He retreats, backs up, repositions, they jump back in. It's Purdoon dropped first. They're looking for Penguin of War. Can they get it? Corrupted Genius, the Malice, the verdict. Oh, the verdict is you are dead, sir. Zozane. A little bit of damage there, but over the wall, Prez, the Sigil, Darkos misses the Malice and verdict, but Prez is there. Prez finds the damage, finds the kill. 3 kills off the back of that. Not the ace, though, correct, Bacon?
If not ace, but still getting plenty of kills. Able to get some pressure onto this turret. Purdoon is going to be back here just to push them away, make sure they don't take it down completely. But still a very good fight for the side of Team Case. And like you said, that Atlas Pauldron, early Atlas Pauldron, first item Atlas Pauldron. Yeah. That's not something we typically see, but it pays off in spades for Amano.
Yeah, I mean, well, even Adagio, when Adagio was, he can, even with very little items, just self-buff, you know, or you splash that gift of fire, self-buff, and trade, you know, some decent damage to these fights. So you actually think about that as a right-clicking target through these, right-clicking, that's my PC experience, sorry about that. Basic attacking through these fights, and the Ringo, so it's shutting down the Ringo, it's shutting down the Fortress, it's shutting down the, I just love it.
Yeah, I mean, it was worked really well for them there. It's going to be a question of if it will work continuously once this fortress starts to get a little bit more damage. Has the Storm Crown completed now, but it's still sitting on just the Eclipse Prism as far as any meaningful team fight damage is concerned, and so that's not really all that meaningful. But once that gets turned into an Aftershock and maybe a Broken Myth comes out, we could be seeing a different story.
We'll see. I mean, the timing on that is going to be pretty late for all those items to come together, especially if he looks to build any more defense. Right now, a lot of poke coming out from Team Queso. You have to really respect everything that comes to the table. Bright Bulwark down before the engagement. That's the go signal. They turn it on to Amano. He's going to go ahead and rose defensive out of that one. Hellfire Brew comes through. It does connect. He's going to be ticking down. Their fountain's been burned. Sigil comes out. It's going to go ahead and heal that team up a little bit right here. HellDrivers still holding their fountain. They're at a pretty massive advantage here.
And that right there could be an example of like a big difficulty for HellDrivers, is that Team Queso are so good at retreating out of a bad position or a bad fight. I mean, put down that Sigil. If you're damaged, it's going to get popped very quickly while it tries to heal all 3 members of the team, so you get that movement speed. Obviously, Samuel in a Drifting Dark going backwards can kite very well, and of course Rose Offensive being used to get out of there as well.
Ooh, Rose Offensive, they're trying to take down this turret, but he's going to trade over his life. I don't know if that was necessary, my man. Oh, Amano goes down, and Penguin of War and company not really looking to fully engage onto the remaining members of Team Queso. Going to move forward here, probably take the mid away. What else do they take off the map? It's just a mid and a front steal.
Yeah, that's all they're really going to be able to get out of this. And you said the death may not have been necessary, but it was absolutely worth it because they give up only 1 kill, lose out on a Treant, and in return they take the first turret of the game. That's a lot more gold going the way of Queso, and a lot more map pressure now available to them as well.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to be able to apply a little more pressure. I feel, you know, if I'm Penguin of War on this Ringo right now, probably feeling pretty nervous about this Blackfeather. You know, shuts you down early with this Atlas, and a lot of times that's not coming out for a while. So suddenly you just don't have that team fight impact from the very beginning of the game, and it's, you know, the Blackfeather is just going to get stronger eventually. Going to want to stick right on you, and it's going to be fairly easy.
How about the second item from Prez, another Atlas Pauldron? They are just going all in on the shutdown Ringo train. It is going to be just trying to get the Blackfeather Rose Offensive in, pop the Atlas Pauldron, and wait a little bit. Once it is about to time out, you just have the Lyra use her portals to get in there, the Arcane Passage, and put down another set of the Atlas Pauldron. And this Ringo's just going to have his attack speed slowed for the entire duration of a fight. It's going to be a pretty tough time for Penguin.
if he's Atlas through the whole fight, I'm pretty sure they're gonna lose the fight. If he's able to block one, maybe they miss one, I think they're gonna have a chance here. There's definitely a lot of firepower on both sides. Net worth, quite even here, approaching 10 minutes into this game. 3 kills for Team Queso to the 2 of HellDrivers. Both teams it looks quiet across the map as no team fully engaging. It was just kind of that fighting for objectives.
Mono does have the Serpent's Mask completed now, so his survivability is going to be through the roof. Goldmine being taken.
Perez, Arcane Passage forward. He got the Atlas off, so that's the start of the fight. Their attack slowed through this, but the burst comes out and lands the stun onto 2. They've turned it with the attack and the back out. Woohoo! Blackfeather just got dumpstered right there, and Team Queso dismantled. Did you catch who caught that, or who got that gold payout? Was that HellDrivers?
Yeah, the gold payout did go to HellDrivers. It looked like Prez maybe pulling, jumping the gun a little bit there, jumping in with that Arcane Passage, and he just was not ready to fall.
Yeah, because I mean, that's one way to do it. Like, it's an instant right on top of Ringo. Pretty hard to deal with that Atlas. Like, it's usually gonna land. But your team has to follow you.
Yeah, the Atlas Pauldron went down. It got onto Ringo, but by the time the rest of Team Queso was there ready to fight, the Atlas Pauldron had worn off. Uninhibited, just pumping out damage into that team fight. 2 quick hills, get a turret themselves for it. And that is all of a sudden now HellDrivers with a gold lead and a kill lead 11.5 minutes into this game.
So I think, while I like both of these drafts, I think either draft could win this game. It's easier to execute HellDrivers draft. That's probably the advantage they have here. Boots forward, self get the fire. They are burning right here. But this Blackfeather going hard onto Ringo. He's got the Atlas down. Ringo can't fight. He's trying to reposition right here. Another Rose offensive. Arcane Passage onto the backside. Samuel's trading with the Ringo right here. Ringo, is he gonna be able to take him down? Penguin of War will fall. They traded 1 for 1. This Blackfeather starting to do pretty good work here. Skip the fire burning through. They traded. Blackfeather falls. It's actually enough damage out of that fortress. It's kind of strange how it's bursting through this fight. He gets his B off onto a target. That aftershock damage coming through in burst chunks. At the end of it, 2 for 2 there.
Yeah, and I mean this fortress is all about different burst spikes. The burst from the aftershock is one of them. The burst from when those bleed stacks build up is a second one. And again, that was a really nice start to the fight for the side of Team Queso. So Dashio gets rooted by the treant and can't kill it as a result. Oh, that's unfortunate. But they got onto him. The Blackfeather jumped in, got the Atlas Pauldron down. It was exactly what I was saying. They waited a few seconds. Once the Atlas Pauldron wore off, then the Arcane Passage came through, put another Atlas Pauldron onto him. But Penguin, not War, did such a good job of just moving in that fight to avoid taking too much damage before those Atlas Pauldrons wore off. And once they did, he was able to then get his damage down, allowed a kill to go through in favor of HellDrivers, which then let them come out with an even trade on the team fight. So for the side of Team Queso, getting the Atlas Pauldron down to Ringo was really well done, but they need to be able to kill Ringo during that time, because once the Atlas Pauldrons wear off, this Ringo has a ton of damage. Going for this Poison Shiv, once again, love the Poison Shiv into this composition.
Love it. Absolutely loving it right now, Bacon. I'm on the same train. They also, another thing I want to mention, this is double Atlas Pauldron now for HellDrivers. And Blackfeather's at the point where, with Breaking Point, he's looking to get some attacks down through these fights, and that's going to be just as effective against him as these double Atlas will against the Ringo. Things really starting to even up.
It's actually almost more effective against the Blackfeather, just because Blackfeather is going to be getting the healing from those attacks, and so by slowing up his attack speed, he isn't able to heal quite as much. So it kind of has the double blade there going into the Black Feather, preventing the damage and preventing him from healing.
I mean, plus the mortal wound coming out of the fortress. You got the poison shiv. It negates a lot of that healing that he would be receiving on that side.
Yeah, and that was one of the big advantages that Team Queso had, is they are a super sustainable team. And so you get those mortal wounds down, and all of a sudden that big advantage becomes just only a slight advantage instead.
I love their positioning right now. I love it. They could be one brush farther forward, on the opposite side of that wall. That's like a super surprise bush right there, and you see they would just roast them because they didn't flare that bush. They haven't flared this one, and this is oftentimes why you can hide here. A lot of teams will find it, but it's Samuel who finds out with an Achilles shot. They're followed up with the damage. Actually, a heal in the burst comes out. It's been blocked. Penguin War taking a lot of damage. Oh, he can't be on the front line like that. Ringo, he's in position this time, Bacon. Now Perdune and company chasing onto Dark Ghost. Dark Ghost is low. He's fallen. Perdune goes down. It's a double kill. A mono following, looking for Zozane. It should be a pretty easy kill, as there's no way this Adagio gets away. Arcane Passage forward. Not even needed. Like, that maybe would give Adagio his only way out of that fight, actually. But they find the kill. That's the full ace. Wonderful fight for Queso, and it looks like a Kraken off the bat.
Yeah, and you gotta figure that's just misplays by HellDrivers. They had the jump. They had every advantage you could ask for going into that, but as you said, Penguin, not War, just way too deep. You can't be in the thick of things as a Ringo in that situation, but now he has a chance to maybe try and steal this Kraken. It would be super, super risky, but he is in position. Here comes the Wolves.
Here come the Wolves. Ringo, what's the play, baby? He's not going to go for it. He backs out.
That's so anticlimactic.
Oh, I know. Thought he was going to make the plays, Bacon. I feel like HellDrivers from game 1 would have made the plays.
Well, HellDrivers, now they need to actually recall here so that they can get infusions up. They are going to be doing that. Adagio still has an infusion from level 10, but both Fortress and Ringo just picking one up there. And they're now going to deal with this Kraken pushing in. Usually a fight ends up happening at this third turret, but like Queso, they want it now.
Oh, they're going for it. Zozane taking a lot of damage here. He's slowed up, getting very low. Whoa! Be careful there. As Mono jumps forward. One Atlas used. Both Atlas. Okay, Zozane's Atlas coming back up. We'll be ready to use in this fight here. Choke point turrets down. Team Queso looking to go ahead and regroup under the sigil. Get some healing burst to move speed. They move back forward. Perdune taking some poke damage from range. The on point, the basics from Lyra and the Malice and Verdict starting to add up. Kraken's getting low. They're going to have to get out of here. Hellfire Brew blocked off. Attack of the Pack comes out. The HellDivers look to chase here now. Who's going to be the target? Dark Ghost is kind of lingering on the backside. They jump forward. Prez taking the damage, but they switched over to a mono as he jumps forward, blowing up the Black Feather. Look at how fast that damage came out. Oh, Prez tries to split from Dark Ghost and buy some time here. Dark Ghost tries to throw the Malice of Verdict. He's low on his energy. That Corrupted Genius and the Malice of Verdict not going to be enough. Fountain comes out to keep Perdune alive. There's no way you run from this fortress, especially a farmed fortress. Gets the kill. That's the ace. Crystal Sentry will be on the menu as well. And now 10-8. Kill and net worth advantage to HellDivers.
Yeah, they did lose quite a bit of ground in the lane as a result of that Kraken push, but such a good job of answering and being able to chase down the ace, getting that with just a few seconds to spare. That's going to be a turret going back their way, and as a result, you can see the gold lead. Dude, even though they just got shoved in very, very deep into their base, they have about a 4,000 gold lead to their favor, so still doing a great job, our HellDivers. I think most thoroughly impressed by the fact that Perdune is having this much of an effect on the fortress with only an Aftershock as an offensive item. He now has the Heavy Prism just to do a little bit more damage, but without having the Broken Myth, he's still putting out a ton of damage. They're trying to set up another party brush here.
Oh, what's cool is, like, I mean, these items are great for him. He gets the cooldown reduction, some true damage coming down. All of these things are great. He has just natural damage built into when he overdrives his Law of the Claw, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, even without items, like he's, naturally if you focus one target, it's gonna have huge burst of damage. Blackfeather's forced to use his boot. No, he didn't use his boots. It was War Treads maybe used there. Sentry defeated, 1 life remaining on that. As the Drifting Dart goes down, Team Queso looking to find a target, looking to find some damage. They're gonna have to be careful. Helldivers have regrouped. Moving forward, it's just kind of a vision war, back and forth, flares coming out, Venn diagrams of opposing teams' flares. Zozane clearing both bushes here. I was talking, was I talking with you this weekend about bush versus brush?
Yeah. It was all 3 of us at the analyst desk.
What do you prefer on that?
I prefer brush.
Sometimes it feels better.
I feel like it's almost like it depends on what you're saying. Like if you put a word for like the try bush, I prefer. But if it's just the brush in general.
Oblivion comes out. It's actually Ringo able to claim the Kraken here, but the fight is on. Arcane Passage back. I don't know about that one, Lyra. Your team didn't take the call. Blackfeather tries to reposition as he took a lot of damage in the beginning of that fight. Dark Ghost feeling healthy. Were they able to block off that Hellfire Brew? Oh, Blackfeather, no! Miscommunication central! And now Team Queso have to be on the retreat here. They've lost 1, plus they need to deal with this Kraken. Purdian dropped back to take his mid, get a little regen off of that as they had their regen canceled off when the fight started. What was going on there?
I mean, the fight was actually really well played by both teams up until Amano came back down into it afterwards, and I don't think he like registered the fact that Helldivers had vision of him because of the Kraken. So they see him coming down, Helldivers say, oh, you know what? We could go and chase this fight and get flanked by a Blackfeather, or we could back off and just completely obliterate this Blackfeather as he tries to sneak up behind us.
Yeah. One of those where you're like, wait, he's not gonna... Wait, yeah, he's coming.
I think it's almost more like, wait, guys, look, type of thing, like, he's actually coming. Yeah. So they end up just blowing up Blackfeather. It does actually end up giving Prez and Dark Ghost a chance to get back into the base to help defend with that Kraken, but it's still it looks awkward when it happens at the live moment. But Kraken...
there was a lot of awkward moments in that fight, like, you know, Prez throwing the Arcane Passage like at half range backwards to disengage. Like, it was very clear that like the captain Roamer, you know, in that fight did not want it. They're moving in from the backside. Helldivers with a nice rotation. Who's their target? Looks like it's Dark Ghost. Hellfire Brew gonna come out from range here. Blocked off, not gonna fully come through, but oh my goodness, they just locked this Blackfeather down. Amano just getting destroyed. Oblivion's gonna come out here. Lyra's fallen as well. It's Dark Ghost on the run. I don't think there is a way in the Vainglory world the Dark Ghost gets out of this one. That's the ace. Helldivers just absolutely putting it together here.
100%. And, you know, Helldivers coming into this one, they were the underdogs. You know, it was Team Queso, I believe number 5 seed. No, not number 5, number 7 seed. Helldivers number 10 seed. So it was a very close matchup as far as the seeding is concerned, but Helldivers, they absolutely brought their A game here today, and they are going to be moving on to the next round of the winners bracket. And this next round of the winners bracket they're about to get into is extremely important, because if they win their next game, they are into the playoffs of challengers. You know, the final week where we're down to, I believe, 8 teams when we get to that stage. You have the much shorter road to getting into the